Join me as we talk all things true crime.
Made contact and shattered.
The missing 4-year-old. The parents have called the NSF, but the mother has went through a wall, came home, now they can't find her.
Chad, where are Lori's kids? They've been missing for 4 months. You have nothing to say?
4 were stabbed multiple times and were likely asleep during the attack. Some had defensive wounds.
Most of them had just like one that was the lethal stab wound.
Oh, what a tangled web we weave. Once I told a lie, and I told my family, I had to keep lying.
What's your, is it deemed?
We haven't cleared anybody.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. We are covering Sebastian Rogers tonight. There's a little bit of updates that we can go through. First and foremost, we will be looking at this picture that has been circulating. Let me share my screen. This has been going around all over social media. And as you know, Nick Perez from NC5 has been covering this case extensively. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Hi, Pointer Lover. Kent, good to see you. I saw Johnny here. Cheryl's here. Sherry, Bean Bio Girls here. There, I got my glasses on now. I can definitely see. Florida Bass Fishing is here. Lame Staley's here. Thanks for being here. Okay, thank you, Florida. I appreciate it. Okay, so this has been floating around social media for the past 24 hours. A lot of mixed opinions on it. As much as I hope it is Sebastian, there are some inconsistencies like the hair color. People have said someone dyed his hair. We can stay hopeful. So 12 hours ago, let me read it from my phone because it's easier. 12 hours ago, this is what Nick says about the photo. He said, "Is it Sebastian? Here is an update to my post showing a photograph of someone who looks like Sebastian. I continue to be flooded with messages from people asking about the photo, which was shared on social media. The photo was supposedly taken this past weekend at a visitor center off of the Blue Ridge Parkway in North Carolina. And yes, people think it looks like Sebastian Rogers, the 15-year-old who disappeared from his home in Hendersonville, Tennessee 2 months ago. I can tell you both Sumner County Sheriff's detectives and the TBI now have this photo. One investigator has told me that they are considering the possibility the photo was AI generated. But I have now been in touch with the person who posted the photo to social media. Here's what they tell me. A friend of this person took the photo thinking the boy resembled Sebastian. I asked why they didn't go approach him to be sure. I'm sure they were rushing to meet family and just quickly snapped the photo before leaving. Later, they reported it to authorities and shared the photo with TBI. They say the boy appeared comfortable and was relaxed and seemed to know the people he was with. My understanding is that this visitor center has security cameras. Authorities will likely pull video to look for the boy and who he was with, along with their vehicle. Some of you have commented about the lack of leaves on the trees in the photograph. It's not uncommon for trees to be still a bit bare in April because of the elevation in the Blue Ridge Mountains. Since Sebastian vanished, authorities have received many photos and potential sightings, and all of them are vetted. To date, there have been no confirmed sightings. It is good to keep Sebastian's story out there, and it is great that people continue to report potential sightings. But please don't draw any conclusions until we hear from authorities. Trust me, if and when there is a confirmed sighting or he is found, they will let us know. And for now, this photo is nothing more than another potential lead. I'll let you know if that changes." So again, I'm curious your guys' opinion on it. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. What gets me is him saying that he spoke to an investigator who says, which is what I put on my thumbnail, One investigator has told me they are considering the possibility the photo is AI generated. So if somebody is literally coming up with fake images to cause hype on social media, like shame on you. You should be like charged with something. I don't know exactly what, or publicly shamed. I don't know. And then it was kind of unsettling as I read this to you guys that, he says he'd got in touch with the person who posted the photo. A friend of this person took the photo thinking the boy resembled Sebastian. So the person who posted it isn't even the person who like took it. So again, another thing that's kind of like, what the heck? Like, what's going on? Are we being like punked? You guys in chat, let me know what you think. Dustin says, I don't think it was him. Being Bio Girl says, I wish it was him. Hey Debbie, good to see you. I saw this yesterday, but don't think it's him. And we all know Chris reacted to how Chris reacted. Yeah, so I have a screenshot of Chris reacting to this in my photos on my phone. Let's see. Okay. He said, it's not Sebastian. And not was in, where's my camera? In caps. It's not Sebastian. And then the woman in the photo in the pink there, they were kind of comparing it to a family member. I think a family member of Chris's. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. But she posted and she was like, that is not me. It doesn't look anything like me. And then I also have a screenshot of somebody who sent this to Katie Proudfoot, the bio mother of Sebastian. And they say, hi, Katie, sending you some screenshots from a group. Could that be Sebastian praying for a safe return? Thank you. We have seen them and we are working to 100% confirm. So that's the statements from Katie and Chris, excuse me. Tracy says that man is unhinged. Yeah, that's pretty much going to be half. Oh, hi, Lady Sarah. Good to see you. That's going to be half. And hi, everybody else who joined. If you guys could hit the thumbs up button, as you know, it pushes the story out to the algorithm. Hi, Punksy and everyone else here. We need to get Sebastian's name and keep it out there, his face. So, the thumbs up definitely helps that, as well as it helps the channel too. So it's a free way to support the channel. Yeah, Seth said it's unconfirmed. So a lot of mixed statements from the family. Now, when it comes to Chris being unhinged and the whole thing about this live stream, also, have you guys seen that video that's been circulating? Let's see if I can pull it up. There is a video out right now that is claiming to be leaked surveillance footage. It's zoomed in, heavily zoomed in. I don't even know what I'm looking at, to be honest. Have you guys seen it? So many people are like stunned by it. I don't know what I'm looking at. So it says, this leaked surveillance video from the neighborhood where he went missing has been zoomed in and analyzed. And then we discuss it. So this is from Jay for Justice. I'm not going to play her whole video, but I will show you what she's showing everybody. Some of the comments on the video say, this poor child, I pray he's alive. This is disgusting to watch. I hope they soon figure this out. Am I the only one struggling to see? I can't make out I can make out ultrasounds better than this video. Somebody else wrote, this made me sick. Looks so savage. That boy must have been scared. So I don't know. For the sake of, yes, Pointer Lover, we're going to be playing that video by Websleuths. It's very long, so I don't think we're going to get through it all tonight. But yeah, we're going to listen to that because since it is so long, I figured if I'm going to sit here and listen to it, I'm going to sit here and listen to it with you guys. Pointer Lover saw the video. What were your thoughts on it? I seen it. It looks like blobs. I know, Debbie. I'm like, why am I not seeing it? Okay, I'll show you. So again, this all goes to Jay for Justice. She has also been covering the case. So let me just share my screen. I won't pretend to say that I know what I'm looking at, but apparently it's been put through filters, etc. So you have to keep all that in mind as well. And it's on loop, apparently.
It is. Then let's take another look at the video.
Also, pause it real quick. She did say, okay, thank you, Tracy, because that's what I was just about to say. She does say focus on the black and not like the white light area or whatever. I'm still having a hard time seeing it, but if you guys can see something that I can't, please comment down below and all that.
So right here is where I was really disturbed. Okay. So this is what I see. I see subject 1 right here. I see subject 2 right here. I see an arm right here. And then I see a subject 3 right here. And this is just my opinion. Maybe I'm making something out of nothing. But that's what I see. I'm going to play it a little bit slower this time. I know it moves and jerks around a lot, but this is the best we've got, guys. All right, here you go. Pay attention to the black figures. someone wearing a black, it looks like a t-shirt. This is their arm going up. Do you see it? I'm going to make it crystal effing clear for you folks in the back. All right, so see the arm movement up, and then it's down. And up and down and up and down. See that freaking arm flailing? All right, you guys, I'm going to make it crystal clear for you, okay? I mean, I see an arm flailing up and down. Do you see that right there? Like I showed you before. Look. Look right here. Look in this area for a flailing arm.
I'm looking. Yeah, same with me, Debbie. I'm trying so hard to see.
I'm assuming it's the driveway, but I don't know. Could it be the back sunroom lit up? I don't know what's lit up. All I know is that there's figures in front of these lights, and they're doing something that doesn't look kosher. See, I don't know what exactly we're looking at. I can just tell you what I think I see. Okay, so Kaylee says, I'm actually the one that made this video, and from my understanding, the view that I have zoomed in on would be the Proudfoot's back porch, and the camera is on the next street over, so this view would be... Kaylee's awesome at this stuff. Kaylee has eyes, all-seeing eyes. I see 3 people. See, I see an arm extending to someone who's trying to get away right here. And I see someone who's kind of like crouched down, and then I see someone standing over here. But there is a lot of movement. That's why I call it a ruckus. But then I see something else. So when this person, watch the person that I think is being pulled back in on the far right. Okay. Pulled back in and flung. It looks like they're flung over someone's lap. Like, and being hit. And then I see, as we keep going and those arms are flailing, let's go back. The arms are flailing, and then this person, whoever is being wailed on, gets up, and they pull them back into them. See that? I mean, you can almost see legs here. Oh my gosh. See that?
I can see what they're saying.
So I'm going backwards, and there's
definitely...
flailing, but do you see? It's just such a big ruckus.
The video is
If you
from
watch, God, it's just so hard to describe,
the
and you just have to keep
neighbors.
watching it.
And then
Okay, so
Jade
right
for
here, this is
Justice
what I'm gonna show
played
you.
it, but somebody else put it together, it sounds
I
like.
see a person here observing. I see this person with their head bent over, looking down, arm going up, elbow, arm going up. This is their
Okay.
side.
Now I
Okay.
see what she's saying.
Whatever's in front of them that they're wailing on, I see feet across here. And then if you keep your eye in this area between them, you randomly will see what looks like a head pop up. So if you imagine the feet down here, and then the body across whoever this is, and then their head being in this area.
That's how I feel, Johnny.
Maybe
I
on
see
their stomach.
something,
You see it, Kaylee?
but I'm not as
So
positive
now watch.
as
I'm
other
gonna
people
go
seem
back
to be.
again and watch for that body or whatever, that person to be sprawled out across. And it almost seems like this person might be holding their arms. And then this person is holding that person down with their forearm, right? Yeah, you just got to keep watching it, guys. Just hear me out. Hear me out. There's that arm up again. Now we're starting at the beginning again. I'm just going to slowly go through it now that you guys have an idea of what to look at. Yeah, it's really sad.
Yeah, me too, Allison. I can see a lot going on, but I'm not sure what.
Okay, so there again, I see feet here. And I see that arm. I mean, that arm is just wailing away. See that arm just flailing away, man. And then the escape. There's one person.
See, this is what I don't get is like she just said that that person was laying down and that was a
There's the
foot.
second
Now all of a
person.
sudden they're up.
Looks like an arm reaching out.
I don't know.
Crouch down. And there's the observer over here. So now watch that this person that they're reaching for, right? They swing them back in. See this? Watch really closely.
Me too, being bio girl.
See that? See that? That's them reaching. And then they swing them back in and literally like flip them around. And then the arm just starts fucking wailing, dude. Right here is where you can see what looks to be a head pop up. And then feet right here. And they look like bare feet.
No, I agree there, Allison. Definitely
No one
not
knows.
a trash
The
truck.
FBI has this video. I can't say for sure who this is. Can you guys? Look at that hair flailing around over here. Look at this. Right here. Keep your eyes right there. And watch that hair. Look at that hair. Could that be a red curly ponytail? I don't know. Look at it. Shit's flailing around, isn't it? It ends, Mike. It doesn't disappear. It just ends. It's a short clip, a very short clip.
I could see that.
So Kaylee is the one that made this video, and she is saying it's the back porch area.
Back porch area of their house.
And I think he thought he was being slick.
So very interesting. Somebody said something in chat that I wanted to touch on. You would think TBI, FBI, Homeland Security would be able to do the same thing with this video. They have the technology to do so. I pray they take this seriously. I agree. I was going to say that. Same with that photo that we shared in the beginning of the stream that's been circulating of people who think that that is Sebastian in North Carolina. Like it says in that post from Nick Barris that I read, they're going to, figure out what vehicle that family was driving. We might get an update for the Amber Alert where there's a vehicle attached, possibly. We do know that Secret Service was lending their capabilities into the investigation. Were they already looking at this video that we were just examining? Can they zoom in much better? Yes. My thing is, if they have this video and they've been able to zoom in, etc., why this hasn't been up to a criminal investigation, why it's still set at, we're hoping to find him, and we just think, it seems like they're treating it as if they think he ran off. Obviously, they said that all possibilities are on the table and they're exploring all possibilities. But I just don't understand if we're seeing what we think we're seeing in that video and FBI has looked at it, etc., TBI, why hasn't this been up to a criminal investigation? So Jacqueline says, I'd seen the picture debunked, but I can't remember who I was watching. Well, according to Nick Barris, the reporter who's been following this, he said he spoke to an investigator who thinks that it's possibly AI generated. Now, that rumor has been going around social media for the past day and a half. They're claiming that you can put it through some filter and it'll let you know if it's AI. And then other people have said, I put my real picture through there and it came back as AI. So it's not, reliable. I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but if any of this is significant, TBI will definitely give us an update. If it's not criminal investigation, why did they go to the landfill early on? Now, that's the thing, is it might be being treated as criminal, but not announced to all of us as criminal. I'm just waiting for them to say, like they did in Summer's case. One day it went from she's missing and Amber Alert, and then all of a sudden it was a criminal investigation. Oh, hi Roxanne. I'm so glad you made it. I hope you're feeling better. Let me know if you took your medicine. But I don't know, guys. Who is the blonde woman with Seth and then pictured in North Carolina? It's also weird. Apparently the woman who everyone's saying is the woman in the North Carolina pic has come out saying that's not me. It looks nothing like me. So who has listened to this interview that Chris popped up on Websleuths? It happened, I think, Friday or Saturday night. I've listened to it here and there, but I haven't listened to the whole thing. It's very long. We probably aren't going to get through it all. We've already spent a half hour on some blob images that I have no idea what I'm looking at. But for the sake of this investigation, I think everything needs to be looked at. So Bio Girl says, I have not. Pointer Lover has. Okay. So yeah, we need to get an update from TBI with all these rumors going around, because that's what it is. They're turned in as tips, but right now we just don't know what is what right now as far as these new updates. The photo from the rest stop, that blob video, like what is going on? Sorry guys, I am eating a little orange. So I gotta have my snacks now that so the blob video that we were just sharing is from a neighbor's surveillance from across the way from Sebastian's home. They're claiming that those blobs zoomed in and under heavy filters are the back porch area of the house. Apparently the woman has, or no, I'm sorry. Yeah, you would think that they would come out and say, like, that's us. We have nothing to do with this. Maybe they have. In my opinion, this video is nothing but someone over the top imagination than trying to convince others to agree with them. I could see it as that. I mean, I can't say 100% what I'm looking at. Some people in chat seem to be very, sure of what they're seeing. Again, I think it goes down to everyone's perception is different. You can look at the same thing and 12 different people are going to see something different. Again, there were a lot of comments seeing something in that video. And then there were a lot of people who were like, am I the only one not seeing this? So it's interesting. All right, so let's get into this. Chris pops up. So Websleuths had the private investigators on. All of a sudden, they have somebody backstage, and it's Chris Proudfoot, and he is not happy. So again, I've listened to a little bit of this, have not watched the whole thing. I figured, like I said, if I'm going to watch it, I'll watch it with you guys. And yeah, to me, it's just black and white blobs, nothing. I see something going on. I don't know what. Yeah, I feel like it's a potential for something. I'm not going to just say, no, don't turn it in, or don't look at this. This is a missing child. Everything needs to be looked at in a serious manner. Yeah, he's never happy. He was overly pissed in this interview. So let's just get into it. We'll listen to as much as I can tolerate. I might even skip my Watts live stream this week so that we can finish this interview, because everything needs to be listened to when it comes to Chris, Seth, and Katie Proudfoot. I feel like going back through their interviews, I have to say, and you guys let me know if you agree, Katie gives me more bad vibes than Chris does. Like, yes, Chris is, like abrasive at times and just, he's Chris, you know what I mean? Like we've seen him. He never seems to be like he wants to be discussing things. His attitude, I feel, has changed over the interviews. Like they started off with him being, it seems like he's a nice guy, blah, blah, blah. But if I have to put on like who gives me the worst vibes, I'm not saying Chris gives me good vibes, so don't get me wrong. Like I still think there's something like, something there. But, and here's some tea for everybody. Thank you, Johnny. It's just, there's something about Katie that really sets off my like intuition, my gut instincts, like something. Again, I'm not saying that Chris is Mr. Innocent, and I'm not saying he's 100% guilty either, but I am saying like, if I had to put something on any of them, Katie is the one that gives me the worst, like, oh, I just don't know. Like, I feel like you're lying. So let's just get into this.
Joe?
No crappy comments, please. Okay.
Right.
No
this
crappy.
Is about a missing child.
Right.
And that's all that matters.
And we will always be polite to our guests. Okay. So who do we have here? Who do we have here? I've put you on the.
So make sure you like and subscribe to Websleuths. They always do a great job. They're very thorough. They're very professional. She handled this whole interview very well, even when Chris was getting super mad. Yeah, so the whole video is linked in the description box. I did comment on the video asking if it's okay if we go through it. I didn't get like a response back, but I know that other people have listened to this too. So
platform.
You have me and Chris.
Hi, Chris Proudfoot. I really appreciate you coming here. I'm going to change the banner really quickly so everybody knows it's you. But I don't know how long you've been listening.
Long enough.
Okay, you sound angry. Talk to me.
What? Very.
Talk to me. We don't want to get you. The last thing we want to do, Chris, is cause problems between you and Seth. I swear to God.
Well,
So
I can
talk,
understand that, but let me help you with something.
okay.
Okay, a lot of the information that I've been listening to on your show, coming from Chloe, the questions that are coming through people, it's very sickening and disgusting, to be personally honest with you.
Okay, let's talk about it.
So let me go ahead and address a few things and help y'all out.
Okay.
Because Chloe, you're the PI. I haven't had a chance to talk to you. You haven't even called me. You ain't done anything. First off,
Heather has
Heather
been
is the only one. Heather is the only one who has reached out to me or to my wife. So for you to
actually
sit on this show and sit here
month
and
or
give
so ago.
information that you have, that you don't have all the answers to, is a problem.
Okay, well, Chris, help us understand, because I know Chloe, and Chloe wants to help. And the last thing Chloe would do is want to put out misinformation. And the problem is...
Okay, I understand it. So let me just smash something real quick.
Okay.
Okay, first and foremost, anything that goes on between me and my wife is not a damn bit of anybody's personal business. I don't care what you think. I don't care what y'all got to say.
Okay, so right there, and no worries, Lisa. All opinions are welcome, so no worries. You don't need to apologize. Right there, him saying what goes on between me and my household is none of anyone's damn business. Now I want to scroll down. It actually does matter what goes on in your house when your child is missing without a trace. 269 likes. Only 25% accurate for canine detection dogs. I have been a canine handler for over 15 years. This is the most incorrect statement I have ever heard. Unless it is a puppy with limited training, no canine would pass its certification test if it only is 25% accurate. It is very extensive test certification. The fact is based off of 2010 to a 2011 study in the Florida, and it was ruled inadmissible. The correct statistic is 90% success. The 10% is a room for error. So once again, this man, CP, has a problem with women. That's how I feel too. I assume that he tries once again to discredit the dog sniffing capabilities that have come out in this case. Now, we went through it in our last live stream on this case. Remember, we heard Cajun Navy guy on Court TV say that they tracked Sebastian's scent down to a retention pond. We also saw a Facebook post of Chris that I read out loud where he says that it tracked to a construction site, but that they're not accurate. Hold on, I'm going to find that. Although I read it in the last live stream. And then we've also heard through Seth and other people that there was no scent detected. So there has been like a lot of mixed statements made about Sebastian's scent. But in that post that Chris said about the construction site, once again, he was trying to say, and these dogs aren't as accurate as many people think they are.
That'd be like me splashing all your business out to the world.
Okay.
It does not matter what goes on in my house. We're looking for my son. That's real simple.
Your stepson, right.
It doesn't matter. Stepson, my son. All the kids are treated as if they're your own. There is no title, a stepson, a son. No, it does not matter. That boy is loved by me just like he is my own. Just like he's my own.
Okay, Chris, may I ask you something?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I've been doing this for a long time, and let me tell you why people are asking personal questions about you and your wife. Okay, it's because of the situation in which Sebastian has gone missing, and they're wondering if whatever happened between you and your wife, does it have something to do with Sebastian going missing? I swear to you, it's not to be nosy, it's not to be rude, it's just trying to figure out what happened to Sebastian. And
okay, so let me make this even crystal clear for you.
Okay.
And everybody out there that's got all these negativity, disgusting comments and questions that y'all think you know anything about, when honestly you don't know a damn thing. And that's the problem. You assume, you speculate, all this crap. You have no idea what me, my family, my wife, everybody involved is going through, to include Seth, his mom, and everybody else.
Okay.
Because it's the vile, disgusting crap that comes out of people's mouth. Yes, I'm a very pissed off stepfather to this whole situation.
Okay, and I I understand, and I hear what you're saying. But again,
So let me help y'all something.
Okay.
Y'all said some shit that's really, it's really none of your damn business, but since you brought it up, I'm gonna clear it.
okay.
My parents didn't go to Alaska 2 days after he went missing.
I don't think
Why my
anybody said
parents
that.
went to Alaska was because my stepfather went for work.
Okay, nobody said they went 2 days after he went missing.
Oh no,
They
it's
said-
out there. Trust me, because I have.
Okay, I
terabytes.
did not say that.
Nobody
I didn't say
said that
you.
there. Okay.
I said people.
Good question, Liam Staley. Why is this dude watching crime channels? He is very active in all the Facebook groups as well. He's following this investigation very closely. Now, take that for what you will. You know, if he's innocent, would you be doing the same thing? Maybe. We do know that a lot of guilty parties follow investigations super close as well. We also talked about how when Seth got a PI, all of a sudden, Chris, Katie, and Seth want to all work together for the sake of Sebastian. And we speculated last time on this channel that, you know, was it just so that Chris could get the information that the PI is gathering? It's all possible. Again, not saying it's true, but I have to keep it in mind because he does follow a lot of the stuff going on social media in regards to this case.
Okay.
Now I have terabytes of videos of Seth on here saying some foul stuff. I've got videos of everybody and their comments out here.
But
Trust me, what I'm bringing to you is not that I'm just pulling stuff out of the air.
I understand. No, and Chris, I'm glad you cleared that up. That's a
So,
good.
by the way, they didn't go for a month.
Okay.
They went for 2 weeks. My stepdad went on business. My mom went with him, but it's really nobody's business.
Well, but Chris, let me, and please understand. I swear to God, I'm coming from a place of understanding because I've been doing this for years. Okay. Here's the thing: when you ask the public for help, they're going to look at everything and try and figure out what happened to Sebastian. And let me tell them, from an outsider looking in, it's okay. His parents left town shortly after. Was there a reason?
I
Did
agree.
did they take Sebastian with him? It is speculation. That I am sorry it's hurtful to you, and I understand it. And that's why it's important that you clear it up. Just clear it up. Nobody's trying to be hurtful or mean. I promise you. We've all been asked to help find Sebastian. And this is what we do. We try and think outside the box. We try and ask questions and think outside the box and figure out what has gone on.
But
It is
the
not
problem with thinking outside of the box does nothing but cause speculation. And it causes people to call in tips that don't mean anything, that you're taking sources away from the investigation because Joe Schmo down the street thinks that my family owns a cemetery. We own a funeral home. Like, where in the hell do you get up with this stuff?
Okay.
Not you. I'm saying the public.
And so that, Chris, that's why it is great that you're here, because we want to clear this up and help you get it out. And I'm going to tell you something, Chris, when it comes to the general public, they're always going to be calling in crazy tips and doing crappy things. And all we can do is say, that's not us. We are not doing that. But
it doesn't
and
matter,
I did want to clear
that
it
does
up.
not matter.
I
Doesn't
did want
matter
to clear
one
it up,
iota.
Chris. I did reach out to you on March 17th, publicly and privately. You responded to me publicly. You asked me to ask my question publicly. I did. You didn't respond. I reached out to you privately again. So I have reached out to you.
Where in the public? Where?
I reached out to you on Facebook. I reached out to you on Facebook Messenger privately. You've never read my message.
Well, don't take this the wrong way, but a lot of the bullshit that I get in Facebook.
No, that's fine. That's
I'm
fine.
not-
I just want to make it clear that
Can I explain to you?
Yeah.
You send me messages along with thousands of other people.
I understand that. And that's why I took it public. And you did respond to me and ask me to ask my question publicly because you wanted whatever answer you were going to give to be public to clear it up.
What was the question that you asked me? Since I neglected your question.
And
what
that's not
was
what
the
I'm
question?
saying. That's not what I'm saying. I want to make it clear that I haven't not tried to reach out to you.
And Chris, I know you're mad. God, I can feel it. I can hear it, and I understand it. You've got to believe me when I tell you this. Please, if you can dial it back a bit and get us some of these answers and let us help you clear up this bull so it doesn't interfere anymore. And like I said, you're always going to have crazy people interfering and coming up with rumors, and it's so maddening and frustrating, and I hate it. It pisses me off more than anything, and anybody that knows me knows
It
that.
pisses you off? You're not in our shoes.
I know.
You haven't been in our shoes.
Okay, well, you don't know that, but I haven't been in your shoes and missing a child, no. But believe me, I can understand what you're going through, and what I'm saying is we can help you, Chris. We can help you, all right? anybody here in this chat that asked about a cemetery, it's because somebody else brought it up. Just tell us.
Exactly. And my question comes back to, where do these people come up with this crazy crap?
That's $1 million question. I don't know.
Yeah, online.
Let's clear it up. Let's clear it up for you. Let us help you.
You're saying, I believe, Chloe, you're saying online. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm sorry, I said that. There's a lot of
Stacy.
crazy people online, and just to let you know, I understand you get a lot of messages. I reached out to you when Sebastian first went missing too, to see if we could help in any way. So.
Yeah, but Chris, I understand your anger, but I'm telling you, please let us help you. Okay, we're not here to point fingers at you or whatever. But the problem is, and this is what we were talking about earlier, Chris, when the public is asked to help, and then no information is provided, then people, because of social media, and social media is here to stay, unfortunately. This never used to be a problem, never, until social media. And it's terrible. I will be the first one to admit it's terrible. But let us help you clear it up, okay? So you don't own a cemetery and you don't own a funeral home, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so, okay, everybody, stop with that bullshit, all right?
Here, let me add this to the thing. We don't own a private plane. We don't own 78 pieces of property. We don't own a private yacht. What else do you guys want to come up saying that we own? Like we're millionaires or something, like we've got this money growing off trees, which, by the way, it'd be great if we did, because I guarantee we wouldn't need anybody's help, because he'd have been home by now.
Right, no, I understand. No, I completely understand. Okay, but understand, when the public is asked to help with social media, this is what social media does. And it can be your
Worst nightmare.
Or your best friend.
Yes.
And let us help it. And I can give you examples. I can have you talk to people that have said, yes, the people at Websleuths, they've helped us. They've been great. Okay. Yes. But hey guys, I understand why Chris is angry, because it's coming 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Horrible crap about him. Okay. And his family. I get the anger. So we're going to help you. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to let my cat out before she drives everybody crazy. So I apologize. So hang on. Chloe, is there anything you'd like to say while I let my cat out before she drives me nuts?
I will ask the question. I'll actually read you the message I sent you. This was March 7th.
I almost feel like the cat was like was rubbed the wrong way by Chris too.
17th. Good afternoon, Chris. I wrote this in a chat you're involved with, but I'm worried it may be lost because there's so much chatter. First, let me say I'm a Tennessee private investigator and have been praying and actively bringing awareness to Sebastian from day one. His case is near and dear to my heart.
I find it interesting that she said she sent Chris this message privately and he hasn't read it. So if your stepson, your child is missing, how are you not keeping up with messages on your in your messengers? Like I'd be checking that every single day, even the area that has like your message requests, like from people you're not friends with. So very interesting that she says, I messaged this to you and you never read it. So that doesn't look good, in my opinion.
I had a question. I know Sebastian went to his dad's every other weekend or so. Did you come home on those weekends? Not a specific date, but just in general. Or did Katie come and stay with you? Are you often gone during the week? Just curious about Sebastian's day-to-day dynamic with his parents. And then I messaged you again after I posted that question publicly. You asked me to post it publicly, and I did, and then I wasn't answered. And I said, hey, Chris, just messaging again. So it'll be at the top. I know you said you get a ton of messages.
So, and again, we understand that you get a ton of messages. We absolutely understand that. Is there somebody else in our chat room? I can't see it.
Heather.
Heather, do you want to come up? I guess she does.
I'm here.
Oh, she is. Okay. Oh, hi, Heather. I didn't see you there.
Hi.
Okay.
There's a lot of talk. I didn't really have a chance to say hello.
And this Heather is the other private investigator.
Yeah, I know who Heather is.
Okay. Heather, would you like to say anything?
Well, so I spoke with them earlier today, and obviously, as you know, Mr. Proudfoot did message me and ask for a number so he could come in. And I think that it is past due. I think that it's a good thing for Mr. Proudfoot to address some of the allegations that are being made. I would like to have the opportunity, like I said to him earlier today, it's good for us, Chloe and I, to have access to them, to be able to, when we get this information, instead of having to go around them to other sources to try to get the answers to those questions, to actually be able to come to him for those answers and try to clear them up directly. So I'm glad he's here. I really am. Even though he's
Oh, I am
angry,
too. I'm thrilled. I'm
even though he's
absolutely thrilled.
angry, I'm glad he's here, and I've spoken to him before, and he's been very upset with me before. But once he calms down, I think maybe we can get somewhere. Maybe we can get somewhere.
Okay, so let's address something real quick with your
Okay.
viewers who say I'm drunk and belligerent. No, I'm just a pissed off dad. So let's get that real clear.
Hey, everybody, if any, okay, mods.
So if you want to keep your comments and that's how your audience wants to play this game,
No.
then no, I'm not going to clear up anything or turn the chat off. If you want to clear this up, let's get it right. And let's take all the stupid people out of this equation and answer the deals.
Okay, Chris, hang on. Mods, if anybody says anything rude about any of our guests, I want you to ban them, kick them out. Okay.
It's like this. If you ain't got nothing factual about me to say, keep your mouth shut.
Well, okay, but Chris, they don't know if it's factual.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that's the best recommendation I can give them.
Well, but they want to ask questions, and let me tell you why.
Questions are one thing, not a statement where I'm belligerent and I'm drunk, because guess what, folks? I could read the comments that you post.
I know. And I'm telling everybody, if anybody says anything rude.
And once again, like, why does he care about what the chat is saying? You know, the focus should be on Sebastian, clearing up the rumors. You're here on the panel to do so. Thank you, Tracy, for the super chat. I really appreciate it.
They're booted from chat. Mods, if you could boot them. Stacy, could you get Ping over here to help us? Anybody?
And the other part of this is, if it's nothing in regards to Sebastian, I really don't give a shit, people.
No, and I agree, Chris. And I mean, I don't know if you heard, I didn't want to discuss.
Oh, I asked a lot of questions and she wouldn't discuss it. Absolutely.
I think it's semantics at this point. He's been missing for 2 months, and I don't know how his bathroom habits are going to help me find him.
Exactly. Mind you that children with autism do have bladder and bowel movement issues to control themselves, but I'm
So she just says, like, I don't know why, pretty much saying, like, we don't need to be focused on the bathroom aspect. And he's like, exactly. And then he carries on to, you know, elaborate more about the subject. Like, just stop.
I'm not really worried that people can't read and do their own.
Well, but Chris, let me
stuff.
tell you.
I mean, I'm not going to sit here and care about that either.
Let me tell you why that was brought up. Okay, it's because of what Seth said. Seth said at his house he didn't.
Yes, you were correct. No, you were correct. You just hit the nail on the head.
Mm-hmm.
You just hit the nail on the head. Seth has opened his mouth. He has said a lot of things he probably shouldn't, and he needs to learn how to close it, because, quite honestly, none of that has anything to do with finding Sebastian.
Right, and you know what? But Chris, let's keep it that way, because Seth has said he is not going to do that anymore, and he hasn't.
Bullshit. Let me explain to you why. That Sunday when I went to that vigil and spoke to Seth very calmly, very respectfully, we were having a good conversation while everybody stood behind me and would snap the little pictures and stuff. Heather came up in the conversation. She saw us. It was not a aggressive conversation. It was actually a good one.
Mm-hmm.
But see, it wasn't 3 hours later. Seth was on YouTube on somebody else's show, sitting there. He's blaming Katie, my wife, for Sebastian's disappearance.
Mm-hmm.
Now, unless you got cold hard facts, which you don't.
Blaming Katie, my 5th wife.
Don't open your mouth. Because all you're doing is making an ass out of yourself because you're assuming.
Say that everybody is grieving and handling the situation differently. I won't comment on if I agree with any of the ways that people are acting at this point. I do think, you know, in the last week, we've been trying to build a bridge. And I know it's difficult and it's not going to be just clean and perfect, but I think if we can all just refocus and try to not focus on the other things people have done that make you angry.
So here, let me explain to y'all something that y'all don't get a chance to see, because unfortunately we're meeting on a very bad circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but Seth can contest to this. So Seth comes to Tennessee. He gets his job in the security force. He wants to be law enforcement. He has had a dream of being law enforcement since I have known him.
Okay.
There was a chance for something that came up, and I called him and said, look, I think you should apply for this. I think you'd be great at it, which is the job he currently has.
Okay.
Now, he gets accepted. He's excited. He calls me and says, thank you, man. I really appreciate you helping me. That I have been a supporter and a cheerleader for him this whole time.
Okay.
But y'all don't get to see that. And Seth's not going to tell you that. During the middle of the training, Seth decided one day he wants to call me, tell me he doesn't think he's going to complete it. But I told him, I said, look, you're going to sit there and you're going to go back in there and you're going to complete this training because your son thinks you hang the moon and the sun. So you need to go in there and prove to your son that dreams and goals can be met.
Mm-hmm.
I have been very, very supportive of him trying to do these things. I have told him on Sunday, I supported him then, I would support him now. But I will not stand by and watch somebody be straight up disrespectful and accuse people and say things that have absolutely no bearing. Absolutely nothing.
Okay, well, again, I just, if I could just
Yeah,
step in.
I mean, Chris, I would love for us to refocus and talk about not necessarily the investigation that we can't talk about, but you know, what you know has been done, what you understand about dog tracks, what you understand about the circumstances. You know, I mean, we could go on and on all night, and I know we have a lot of really big feelings that are valid. But I think Heather would agree. We would just really love to redirect this back to Sebastian, because the anger doesn't solve anything.
It's not truly all anger. It's disappointment.
No, and I'm not saying that. And I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying, at this point, it's just
not helping find Sebastian.
Yeah. And it's like an energy vampire, you know, and we're all tired. And I mean, I can't imagine how tired you are. I know how tired I am. So I would love to redirect back to what you know and what you think.
And then I have some questions that I hope you can answer that will help clear things up.
I'll answer questions unless it's something I have been told by law enforcement that I cannot answer. I've said that from day one, and I'm telling you now, it has not changed. So ask your questions.
Did you pass the polygraph?
Yes, I sure did, with flying colors.
And it was TBI that gave it to you?
Yes, TBI gave it to me along with another agency.
Okay.
No, that was kept quiet because it's nobody. We kept it all quiet.
Well, no, I mean, I think it's great that you're telling us now.
Right. And, you know, Seth knew about it the day on that Tuesday when I took it and passed it. They called and told him that I passed it.
And okay. Well, maybe he was told he couldn't say anything.
No, he was told he could say something. They told him so he would try to keep his rhetoric down. That's why they told him. And I have the text message where they asked me if they could tell him. And I said, I've listened to y'all from the beginning. I'm listening to you now. So please do what you feel is best.
Okay. So you passed the polygraph with flying colors. Let me ask you this. People in chat are asking, did you tear down any posters of Sebastian, you or anyone you know?
That is a straight up no. And I can't believe people would think I would tear down flyers or posters.
I never really believed that rumor. There were a lot of rumors that were spreading about they were seen taking down flyers, etc. I think that was just some rumor that got out of hand. So I believe Chris when he says no. While I have it paused, I actually found this screenshot from our last live stream of Chris speaking on the dogs. Yes, I am confirming that the dogs had a scent that led to the construction site. No signs or evidence reveals Sebastian was there. Please keep in mind that dog tracking isn't as credible as you think. The idea that someone hurt Sebastian and threw him into a wet, fresh paved driveway is funny. To bury a body in concrete, it would need to be at least 12 inches thick. Secondly, you have to smooth out the concrete and finish it before it's dried. All of that is done while the concrete is being poured and being set. So remember him saying, please keep in mind that dog tracking isn't as credible as you think. And we're all wondering, since when?
Of my missing stepson.
Okay,
which,
again,
you know, another thing which is kind of funny that you bring this up because some people, and yes,
I agree. I think if TBI even told him he passed, you know, until they have a case built with real physical evidence, because again, lie detector tests are not admissible in court. So I believe that, like in many cases, law enforcement can lie and, you know, make them feel safe, etc., while they build a case. I'm not saying that that's the case here. He very well might have passed it and there's no suspicion. But I think that there is also a chance that he was told, like, yeah, you passed, when really they're building a case and keeping an eye on him and Katie.
They are pertinent to the investigation. Have said that there's a video floating around of me tearing these things down. If you got it, post it. Because if you ain't got it, shut up.
And I mean, I'll say on record from myself, I've never seen that.
And I
Exactly,
also wanna
because
say-
it doesn't exist.
I'm sure it doesn't.
And I want to say on record that in my conversation earlier with Chris and Katie, Katie said she had one request of me, and that was that when I do these interviews, that I, at some point in the interview, remind people to hand out the flyers and put them up everywhere.
Please, we're begging. I don't know how to beg you even more. I don't know what it's going to take for America, the world, whoever, to understand. We are begging you to hang posters, talk to whomever, spread the words, keep your eyes open, and when you find something, don't wait 2 weeks to make a report. Because let me tell you something, that's what's been going on. Some of the leads that are coming in are 2 and 3 weeks old.
Why do you
Instead
think
of when
that
you
is?
see something, you pick up the phone immediately and you call the cops.
Yeah.
Don't call your best friend and say, hey, I think I've seen this kid. Don't call these investigators. No offense, Chloe and Heather. You don't call them first. You don't call Seth. You don't call anybody but.
Isn't it interesting how he said, don't call your best friend and say, I think I seen this kid. And then what do you know? This week we come out with that photo of him in North Carolina, and Nick Beres tracks down the person who posted it and said, well, my friend saw it. Just weird.
Law enforcement only, and make your report immediately.
I will say, you know, we've received tips that maybe haven't been called into law enforcement, but we call them in. And we also received tips that have been called into law enforcement, but the person that called the tip in didn't get any feedback when they were told they were going to be called back. And so they were worried that maybe it didn't get looked into enough. So I don't
So
think
for the record,
passing
right.
tips
So
to law
for the record, I think what folks need to understand, because no, y'all don't know, y'all don't have all the information that Katie and I and some of the information that Seth has. You don't. And I understand that. And I'm sorry that we can't give you every single thing under the sun. I wish we truly could, but unfortunately we can't.
Right.
But when you do make a report and you give them a name and a number, you tell them the location, you tell them a very detailed description and everything. You don't expect to get a call back from law enforcement, period. Don't. Because I'm sorry, but they don't have the time to stop and answer every single callback when they're looking for missing children, not just ours, but there's so many children out there that are missing.
Right.
So I'm sorry that some of y'all feel that you deserve an answer, but it's not. And I'm sorry, it's just going to sound rude when I say this, but you don't deserve an answer. You'll get the answer when we get the answer. The family gets the answer on a missing boy. Not strangers. They're not calling y'all to tell you.
Chris, this is what I have to tell when I talk to law enforcement, and it's difficult to accept, and I still have trouble with it too. This is the way it is. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. But again, when you ask the public for help, people are going to start looking, and they look at the last place that Sebastian was known to be, and then it just goes from there. And I'm sorry, it shouldn't, but that's how it does. And we can clear a lot up tonight. And I'm so
let's
glad.
do this.
Okay, BW says, Chris, are you frustrated with law enforcement, or do you feel like you're getting adequate information from them?
I'm not upset with law enforcement. I'm gonna tell you right now, the agencies that are involved have thrown every asset that they have at this. What people don't understand, this has actually probably been one of the largest searches for a missing child in Sumner County history, period, and probably in the state with the number of assets. Do I think they're doing everything they can? You bet your sweet tail I am. You can bet on it. I don't think, I mean, just short of making everybody in this United States go hand in hand.
I find that response interesting only because of, you know, other cases that we follow, not necessarily missing child cases, but, you know, missing child cases, murdered children. The parents are kind of frustrated and they have no problem stating that they're frustrated with law enforcement. Like, oh, really hope we get an arrest soon. Or I just feel like, you know, they need to be spreading more information out there or giving us more updates. So for him to be 100% backing law enforcement, I'm not saying all I think is it's interesting because we have heard in other cases parents that have no problem expressing their frustration. Hey, Zawoki, good to see you.
And start on one side of the country and sweep through hand in hand. That's probably about. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, I'm very happy with what they've done. I know there are some other folks that
Exactly,
don't feel that
Happy
way,
Homestead.
and I'm sorry because they are not in the know.
Mm-hmm.
But you do have to remember one thing: they're not going to expend every single asset, every single minute of the day on one child.
Of
You
course.
have to keep in mind how many children are missing, and it has to be equally dissolved among everybody. And I'm not going to lie to you, it hurt. It hurt the day that they came in on day 8 and told us that they have to pull back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it ain't nothing. There was more of a gut punch to take than being told that. I mean, it
I can imagine. I mean, yeah, because you're not expecting them to say that. You're not expecting them to say, yeah, we're going to pull back and put
I
less.
do expect that, but here's the thing: I'm also a realistic person.
Mm-hmm.
I would love for them to expend every aspect and every asset of every single second of the day finding Sebastian. That's not realistic.
Yeah,
It's
I
not.
understand. I want to read you a comment, and I like this comment from Brittany Cole. It says, sometimes you have to block out the noise, Chris. The public will do what they do, and that's the truth. A lot of us are just trying to offer help. It's the bad ones that you remember, and not all the much bigger crowd of good people who are not doing this.
And I mean, weeks ago, somebody asked me what I thought, and I had some information from court documents that could have been a lot of quote unquote tea for the internet to have, and I refused to release it because
Court documents on. Let me ask you this: on who? Me, Seth, Katie. Okay.
I refused to release it because, number one, I didn't think it would help find Sebastian. Number two, it was a deeply personal thing. And also,
when she was young.
Yes.
Okay, so
let me finish, and I referred to the Michael Vaughn case, where his parents got completely slaughtered.
Yes, they did.
By the public for a very long time. And they didn't do anything to that boy. I do not believe.
They didn't.
Now they have proof. But they just got slaughtered. And if people can say without a shadow of a doubt that they just know what somebody did, and they don't. Well, if you know, take it to the police and let's solve this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Tell all the Sherlock Holmes and Watsons out there, since they have their PhDs in criminal justice and forensics and all this, since they've got it, by all means, we welcome you to the case. We welcome you to come in here and show us and show these law enforcement officers that have so many years of experience that they don't know anything. We'd love you to do it.
Chris, this isn't helping.
I know it's not helping, but this goes back to what's being asked.
Let's get people on your side, and then we can all work together. Because I know
that's just the thing. This isn't about sides. This is not about sides.
Exactly, and that's
this is not.
What we're
this is about
to do.
Sebastian.
It is, but if we're not,
I'm Team Sebastian.
Same.
I was brought in to do one thing.
Same.
Okay, guys, let me just say, coming from the other side, you want the public's help. You need the public's help. Let's not insult the public. There are asses out there. And believe me, we fight against them all the time, don't we, Stacey? Constantly. These jerks out there that pull all this crap just to get clicks. We don't have advertising on this channel. We don't ask for money. We do it because we want to help. But it doesn't help.
So can I ask you a question on your show?
Yes.
I'm going to ask you the same question I ask everybody else when we went on their shows. So I'm on your show, and I'm sure it is blown up. So the more people that come on, the more money the show makes.
No, I make no money.
We don't make money. We're not monetized.
Zero money.
It's not monetized.
And we
You're
don't
not a
take
monetary
donations.
show.
No, they don't monetize.
No.
We do not monetize.
Okay.
We do not monetize. It costs me money to do this.
Yeah, and
Websleuths
So the reason why I asked
so I
that,
will go on.
Yeah, it's completely free,
Well,
and the website is as well.
No
right,
advertising.
so the reason why I'm asking that question, okay,
Mhm.
is because if people are true to what they say in their heart, especially those, and they know who I'm talking about, the clickers, the shows that make this money, I would love for you to make a public announcement for every dollar you've made. If you truly do this for the goodness of your heart, every dollar that you have made, you should donate it to the cause, not to your personal gain.
Right.
Well, yeah, we don't.
I just feel like that's another example of him being worried about the wrong stuff. Like he's worried about the channels making money off of the story and not donating it to the cause. It's like that would be the last thing on my mind if I was trying to find my stepson. And not only that, you have to understand the way that social media works and the way that even mainstream media works. These platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, they're not going to put a story out there if there's not ad revenue on it because they make money from it as well, the companies like YouTube. So for him to be all concerned about, the paychecks of people, etc., he doesn't seem to understand, like, you want your story out on a platform that actually does have ads, because YouTube will put out videos that have ads on it before they put out videos that don't have ads on it. That's just the way it works.
Like I said, we make zero money. It costs us money to
And
do
I
that.
appreciate it, and I respect that. Thank y'all ladies for that. I will give you that.
So, but no, I understand what you're saying. But again, it's just like with, Nancy Grace or with news media, they report the news. Unfortunately, this is social media. And I agree, there's people out there, and I'm not going to even say their names, but they know who they are. They do this crap to get clickbait so they can make more money, and it's disgusting. Absolutely.
Oh, very much so. Very much so.
And I want to add something to that. Like I told Chris earlier, everybody that's involved in this case is under a microscope. I've been ripped to shreds. They've been ripped to shreds. Seth has been ripped to shreds. I mean, like, the public gets a hold of somebody in the spotlight and they dig into them and they pull up anything that they can about them. And some of it's true and some of it's not. It doesn't help find Sebastian. And that's where we all need to get on the same page and regroup and just make the decision right here, right now, to ignore the rumors, to clear up misinformation, and just to get on track so that we can start trying to find Sebastian.
Now,
right. If we can keep parties involved in this investigation focused on that and staying off of YouTube and other aspects of social media and playing the game, okay?
Yes.
I'm sure we would all benefit greatly, and this would completely change narratives and the direction, and it would straight focus.
It's interesting that they say share his name, hand out flyers, but then also he's saying, like, you need to shut up about it and stop.
Completely on Sebastian.
Well, let's do this. This podcast or Websleuths podcast that we're on right now, we can make a pact right now. That's what we're doing right here, right?
But here's the other thing. I appreciate you want to make that pact, but you know exactly who I'm referring to. That needs to be done publicly as well then.
Well, all we can do is what we can do here tonight. So,
Okay.
but Chris, there's a couple of questions, and then there is somebody. There is somebody that wants to come on the panel, and I don't know if you want them on here, but let me ask you these questions first, okay?
Dun, dun, dun.
Everybody wants to know, what do you think happened to Sebastian? What do you think happened?
I don't know. For the love of God, I wished I had an answer. I wished we had something to go off of,
So,
but we
Chris,
don't.
I asked Seth this a few weeks ago, and
Mhm.
so just no
I'm
thought
gonna hear you out.
in your gut.
All I know is Katie has been asked that same question. What do you think happened to him? And she has said things from, I don't know why he walked out the door, to I think somebody has him. So she has said two different things. And now Chris is, I don't know.
Spit it out. Doesn't matter if it sounds completely off the wall. What is your knee-jerk reaction to what happened?
Sebastian walked out of the house, stepped off the porch, and has vanished into thin air. That is what I think, because that is what I know.
But what do you mean you know?
I've been part of the investigation since day one.
Okay.
And if anybody else out there that's got some information in regards to where Sebastian has went, because last time I checked, there's not one shred of evidence.
You know he walked off the porch is what I'm asking.
I'm telling you, unless this kid is just in the thin air on my front porch, he sure had to go somewhere, so he had to walk off the front porch. Now, if you're trying to insinuate somebody was in my house or somebody's taking that child outside of my house, say
I'm not
that.
insinuating anything. I'm asking, do you know that he walked out your front door? Do you know?
That he went out the front door?
Or any door?
Is that what you're asking?
Do you know?
Yeah, that's what we're asking.
Okay, thank you. I just need a confirmation. I don't play games here. So just to make this real crystal clear, there's a back door. Every door in the house when Katie got up that morning was locked.
Okay.
Since it's already out there, there's a keypad on the front door. You don't need a key to unlock and lock my front door.
Mm-hmm.
But you need a key to lock every other door. And every other door was locked, folks.
So
Did Katie do that?
Do what?
Did Katie make sure all the other doors were locked? And could have Sebastian just walked out? Could he have walked out the front door?
Every door was locked.
So what you're saying is that the only possibility is the front door. Is that what you're saying?
I am saying the most conceivable way possible that this makes sense is that he walked out the front door.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Did he walk out without his shoes on? Is that what you believe?
My statement earlier is real simple. Sebastian walked out of the house not wearing any shoes.
Could he have been running and scared of something?
I love how he says, my statement is very simple. Sebastian walked out of the house without shoes. How is that simple? A kid just walking out of the house, remember it was cold and it was dark without shoes. How is that simple?
Don't know. He could. It's a young boy. It's dark outside. God only knows.
Okay. Now, there is somebody that has been asking to come on, and Gray Hughes. He would like to talk to you. Would you like?
You can bring that man on board because I've talked to him. I respect him, and I will talk to him.
Gray, I just sent you the Facebook link.
Of course he respects him because he's a male.
So jump on up. Okay, Gray?
Just saying what I've seen. How
I just sent it to your Facebook.
Emails.
So he'll be jumping on here shortly. Stacy, can you keep an eye out because I can't see because of my stupid computer.
Hey, in the meantime, I would like to, since Chris is here and this has become very public, I would like to mention something that we spoke about earlier. Chris and Katie did actually confirm that the clothes that he was wearing at Texas Roadhouse that night were accounted for, and I believe they were the articles of clothing that were used for the scent dog. Am I correct when I say that, Chris?
Yes, those clothes are in the possession of law enforcement.
Great. And so do we know what Sebastian was wearing when he left?
From the house that night?
Yes.
The description is still the same. It hasn't changed from 60 days ago. However, I will say this much. Some of the information that's out on some of these posters and flyers, we have actually requested to have some of that changed, but it hasn't happened. So I'll walk you through what the description actually should be. Sebastian was wearing long black pants. Think of the 1970s style Adidas style pants. You know, had the white stripes down the side. That style of pants on. He had a long sleeve shirt, not a sweatshirt, not a hoodie, a long sleeve shirt. On the front of that shirt is probably one of three depictions: Halloween, Star Wars, or Minecraft.
Okay.
Chris, I know that Sebastian didn't have very many pairs of shoes because his feet were growing and Katie would toss them out pretty quickly after he grew out of them. But is there a reason we can't confirm which shirt if it's just one of three?
I didn't say one of three. I said one of three depictions on a shirt.
Okay, so that's
So
three
there's
different shirts, right?
Say again, I'm sorry.
So I don't know if we're saying the same thing or something different, but are you saying there's three different possible shirts he was wearing? Like he had three different black long sleeve shirts. One had Halloween on it. One had Minecraft
What I'm
on
telling
it.
you, no, it's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
I said he had a long sleeve black shirt on, and on that shirt had one of three depictions. I didn't say he had three. I didn't say anything. I just said one.
Okay.
Right, but I'm just confused by how have you not been able to identify which of those three depictions is missing?
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
Can you tell me every single shirt in your closet right now and everything that's on
No,
your shirt?
but if I had
Okay,
to
then.
choose between
Right, but
three
wait a
of
minute, wait a minute.
them, if
But
I had
hold
to
on a
choose
minute.
between three of them, I could.
You're saying three of them. But I'm telling you.
Why does he have to be so argumentative about a detail that is super important? Like, just be clear what he was wearing. If they ask you a question, just keep it simple. Instead, it's like he thrives off of making everybody on panel feel stupid.
You listed three things. I'm just confused.
I listed what could possibly be on the shirt.
Okay, can I jump in and try to interpret a little bit here? Okay, so are you saying that all three of those shirts are not accounted for, or are you saying you don't remember which depiction it was that was on that shirt? Does that make sense? Is that a little bit clearer?
Say it one more time, you broke up.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Okay, so are you saying that you don't remember what the depiction was? It was one of those three things? Or are you saying there are three different shirts with those depictions and all three of those shirts are unaccounted for?
I'm not saying he had 3 shirts with 3 different depictions on them. That's not what I said. I'm telling you, I don't know what exactly was on the front of the shirt. Is what
Okay.
I'm telling you.
Okay, so
Sebastian's clothes mostly consist of, if it has a picture on it, one of the 3 things. Those are his 3 favorite things.
Got it.
Okay,
Halloween,
so what you're saying is he has,
Minecraft.
multiple Minecraft shirts, multiple Star Wars shirts, multiple Halloween shirts. So it's likely he had a shirt that had one of those things on, but there's not just 3 of those shirts.
I'm telling you that he had a long sleeve shirt on with one of the 3 depictions on it. That's it.
Okay.
I'm not
well,
telling you any more shirts. I'm not telling. So
No, I'm not
I know what you're
saying
asking.
I'm just trying to understand.
I understand that, but you're asking me if he had 3 different long sleeve shirts with 3 different depictions on it. And
No, I
I'm
think I
telling
understand
you,
what you're explaining. Like, so Sebastian had multiple shirts that had a Minecraft graphic on it. Sebastian had multiple shirts that had Halloween. Sebastian had multiple shirts that had Star Wars. I guess maybe several of them were long sleeve and black. So you can't identify.
here, let's just make this very simple.
Okay.
He had a long sleeve black shirt on with a picture on the front of it. There
Okay.
you go.
And that obviously is what you got from Katie, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Everybody, Gray Hughes is here, and people are saying, why is Gray here? I will tell you, Gray, I consider Gray someone that I like. Gray helped me in the beginning. When I started this, he was very kind to me. I know it's a shock, but he was very sweet.
Shock.
He knows I'm kidding him. And I asked Chris, is it okay if Gray Hughes comes up? And Chris said yes. So Gray, I'm going to turn it over to you now, please, sir.
Yeah, I just want to say I've talked to Chris, and the way he's sounding right now is exactly how I think I would sound, or anybody else would sound, giving the attacks being leveled. When I talked to him on the phone, we talked on the phone, we've messaged back and forth, but we talked for like an hour.
I would never want to say that I relate to Chris Proudfoot.
For one time, and literally went over detail by detail on where the light video was taken, the flashlights, exactly where that was filmed. We went over where the dog scented and I kept sending him the map, and he would show me the route and everything. And it was like, to me, he seems like somebody who's literally out there trying to figure something out. I know my opinion isn't like all the rest of the people out there. I mean, I've never seen anything like this. It kind of reminds me of like remember the Chloe, was it Chloe? Yeah, Chloe Smith in Australia, the 2 parents that were sitting there and they just didn't look quite right. And everybody blamed them for the abduction out of a tent. And it turns out it was literally somebody abducted the child out of the tent.
Right.
I mean, there's just so many cases like this. And all I'm saying is when I've talked to Chris Proudfoot, I have never seen anything that he said in any of the interviews where I went, wow, this guy, wow, he must have something to do with it. I actually look at him and think, man, I would feel the same way if.
And also Gray was on Court TV saying that Jen Soto, he feels the same way about Jen Soto, that she might be misunderstood and he doesn't really see her being involved. I'm just saying, I disagree. There's something up with Jen Soto, Madeline Soto's mother. Don't know what it is, but I disagree with Gray here. I don't know.
From day one, the entire community hated me, and I never got the same love that Seth got. Seth was absolutely admired by everybody like he was God or something.
Let me explain why. And I agree. I think that's exactly how you would sound, Gray. Exactly. There's no question. But let me explain why. Okay. Again, social media is here to stay. We need to learn this. When anybody comes on and they are aggressive and insulting, it blows up like wildfire. Mm-hmm. And you're asking public for help, but you are condemning the public because of a handful of jerks, and that causes problems. I haven't
for the record, ma'am, I have not in the
I was always taught you catch more flies with honey.
Past gone onto a show and been a jerk and ridiculed the public and said a bunch of hateful things and inappropriate things. I have not done that. So I'm sorry that folks are upset that day one, Katie and I were not on TV or on YouTube expressing everything. Well, you say that, but as you said, social media is here to stay. So
Absolutely.
with that being in mind, you're one, and there are millions out there that think otherwise.
I would never,
So,
I would never
didn't say
expect
you.
you to come on.
But
I'm not saying you.
I think the way he was just talking a minute ago, to me, it sounded normal, given the fact that the 90% of the chat is just trash.
Does anybody else think the way that Chris speaks to the women on panel sounds normal to them? And I'm asking men in the chat as well, because I don't know if it's just me, perceiving it from a woman's perspective, but I'd love to know the male's perspective and those on replay. Like, let me know, like, does his tone and the way that he's coming at these women on panel come across as quote unquote normal to you guys? Like, I know Gray's trying to say like he's being, attacked in chat. Like, okay, we're grown adults here. Like, get over it. You're gonna get attacked in chat. Like, that's just how it is. When you're, sounding so condescending and arrogant, and you won't answer these questions about a missing child. I'm just confused.
Crashing him.
No, that's not true. That is not true. We are kicking the people
I
out.
can see it right now. No, I know you're kicking him out, but I keep seeing comment after comment after comment after comment that are really suspicious and like,
Yeah,
oh,
Gray,
oh,
just
man.
close the chat. I'm not
Yeah,
even
like
looking at it.
you had somebody in the chat that literally asked the question, was Katie arrested at 19 for an incident? Like, I'm sorry, but once again, this goes right back to none of that has anything to do with Sebastian.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm not trying to create anything.
I know you're not, Gray.
I'm
I
just
know.
trying to say that I absolutely understand how he's feeling, and I know out there they go, oh, look, he's soothing Chris's ego. I listen. I've talked to him late night on a phone. He's just a normal dude trying to figure something out. That's how he sounds like. Now he's on here with. I've seen him on shows. Remember at the beginning, him and his wife would go on shows, and they were totally calm, talking, and they were normal. But everybody dissected every single word that they said, and everybody came up with a negative meaning for every single.
Well,
thing they
let
said.
me tell you what happened.
And before she tells us what happened, I'll tell you guys what I saw. I saw no emotion from either of them. I saw no tears falling from either of them. I saw stories changing. Katie tells Duchess, the channel Duchess, that she was sleeping on the couch. And then suddenly that whole taking a nap on the couch turned into she was reading her book for school and talking to Chris for 3 hours. So there has been some inconsistencies. There has been just oddness going on. She left the house. Your child is missing and you leave the homestead. So for people to say like, oh, they dissected everything these poor parents were saying and doing, like, well, yeah, there were things that kind of stood out to all of us as like red flag. And I stand by that. I think that it was odd that they left the house. I think it was odd that we haven't seen any wet tears from them. And that's just how I feel. Also, Chris has changed his story about the lie detector test. He said, yes, they passed. And then it came out that only Katie took it. And then it came out that Chris said TBI told him not to take it. And then it came out that he's passed with flying colors. So it's just all been all up and down. So that's why things have been kind of dissected, if you will.
I can explain. Let me tell you, Chris, when you went on and talked about hitting Sebastian with a belt and kind of, just chuckling about it and how the social services or child protective services came to your door and apologized to you, that got people upset. It got people.
But right, let's clear that real quick.
Okay.
That needs to be cleared up because what was said and what people heard are two totally different things.
I heard you say you hit him with a belt.
Okay, so let me finish because that's the problem. When I go to make the statement, people want to interrupt and try to say, well, this and that. No, you wanted the answer. I'm giving you the answer. Now, when I answered that question, I told people Sebastian got a spanking. He got one lick on his butt outside of his clothes. If somebody can tell me how that's abuse to a child, explain to me.
Can you confirm when that happened?
That was years ago.
I got spanked by a belt and wooden spoon by my mom for years.
So, but let's not sidetrack. Let's stay on board. Okay.
Oh dear. Gray's been whipped by a belt and wooden spoon. So I was spanked as a kid too. I'll lay that out there. I also, have way more respect for women when I'm speaking to them than it seems some people have. Not going to name names. You guys kind of conclude what you want. But I'm going to listen to this a little bit more. I'll let Chris finish up his thought. And then we'll probably have to finish this on Thursday night. Again, this is a very long interview. I do want to listen to it all with you guys and break it down with you guys. But I don't really like to go longer than an hour and a half for the replay viewers.
So the question about the CPS thing that came up to play that everybody wants to tie to this belt is not what it was.
Okay.
Well, I think it was confusing because when you initially talked about it, you referred to him as an embarrassed 15-year-old. So
Yes, you did.
Like it was years ago.
We thought it was like right recently.
Well, instead of asking more clarification,
let's clear it up.
So as it stands, Sebastian went to school one day. He made a statement to a teacher. The teacher reports it to CPS. CPS comes to the house. That case has nothing to do with Sebastian getting spanked. That had everything to do with Sebastian didn't like being in trouble. So he thought by reporting it to a teacher, they were going to come to the house and they're going to take me out of the house and do this and do that. That is what the CPS case was about. And yes, I laughed at it because when I explained to Sebastian, very detailed, what happened, he thought it was a joke. When the CPS lady shows up and looks at him and says, Sebastian, you can't false report. That will get people in trouble and you can get in trouble. And then she explained to him what happens.
What did he say you did to him?
Can I ask you, what does that have to do with the price of eggs in China when it comes to the disappearance of Sebastian?
Because I'll tell you why. Because you're wondering why people are coming at you. And it's
because
he was in your home last. That was the last place he was seen.
Yes,
so
he was.
When we hear these things, it's like, okay, let's just clear it up and see what happened. Because I'll tell you why. Because people, I'm not saying me, but I've seen people say, hey, he was hitting his child. He reported it to his teacher. Did something happen? Was there an explosive incident that happened?
No, absolutely nothing of that nature.
Okay.
And for people to not understand, when you discipline a child, there's a difference in discipline and abuse. There truly is a difference.
But I think hitting anybody with a belt is abuse. I'm sorry, I do. And a lot of people agree with me, and that's the problem.
And
so
guess
we have
what?
a difference
That's
of
the
opinion.
great thing. That's the great thing about having your opinion.
Yes.
That's an opinion. That's not a fact. That's a
Okay, opinions, yes. Everyone's going to have a different opinion. But as far as, the whole scheme of abuse on a child, I mean, I'm going to ask chat, do you think hitting a child with a belt is abuse or discipline? Again, I'm open to different opinions. Personally, never got the belt. My dad never spanked us either. It was always my mom. My mom had to deal with all of that. And we weren't spanked like at 15 years old. Of course, none of us have autism. I think the most severe punishment that really worked for us was being grounded. Your friends knock on your door, want you to come out, and you can't go out. That I think had more impact. I also was a mandated reporter, and if you hit anyone with a belt, it doesn't matter what my personal opinion is. It is my duty to report it. Yeah. A stepfather should never discipline a child, especially an autistic child. CPS does not show up for one report. We know this. He has cases in California, New Mexico, and Tennessee. He's a red flag interstate abuser who's been reported repeatedly. And I also want to hear back now. I know we heard from Nina, his one ex-wife, about abuse. It's not right hitting with anything, plus doing that to an autistic child that has been through SA. I agree. I want to hear more from his other ex-wives. So Katie's the fifth one. We heard from Nina, and her experience was not very great either. I want to know about the first, second, and third also. No, I didn't. I haven't. The only person I watched break this down was a little bit of Deception Detective and Justin from Clutch Them Pearls. Just saying says it's not always abuse in my opinion, but I don't believe him. Right. I think it was, him saying on top of the clothes, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, I don't believe that. Why would you hit a child with a belt on top of their clothing? Like, you obviously want to make a point. So I just don't believe him either. Violence begets violence. So yeah, guys, we're going to have to continue this. I can only handle so much of Chris Proudfoot. I don't know about you guys, but we'll have to deal with the rest of this. I think I'm going to skip the Watts deep dive this week. There's just more focus I want to do on Sebastian's case and the Karen Reed trials going on this week. And I've been very sucked into that as well. There's other cases out there besides Watts. I know the Watts community might be upset that I'm going to skip out on Watts this week. Watts Island people are just going to have to deal with it and join me for, these other cases. So at the minute mark we have is 2:07. We'll pick this up on Thursday. Wonder if Gray Hughes knows the Chris CPS history. Well, he said they talked for over an hour and, he understands him and all this stuff. So who knows? His anger issues don't look good at all with all the CPS. He is making himself look very bad. Yeah, he looks very unhinged, short-tempered. Can you imagine arguing with this guy? All right, guys. So yeah, exactly. Why is Katie hiding? Where is she? Her son is missing. Why didn't she hop up on panel? I know that at some point Seth comes up on panel. Is that right, guys? For those who have seen all this. Yeah, the kids are top priority, right? So, deep diving into Chris Watts. I know it's always fun for everybody. And they really like me to do them. But this week, I really want to just focus on Sebastian, this interview. Hopefully we can get some updates on that blob imagery and the photo of him supposedly, people get so mad when I misspeak that, at that North Carolina visitor center. So hopefully we get some updates. Also, like I said, I'll be doing Karen Reed's week 1 trial breakdown on, I think, Friday night. So I'll just kind of recap the whole week for Karen Reed on Friday. So please join me on Thursday to listen to the rest of this and the Karen Reed trial recap. So I'll talk to you guys very soon. And again, comment down below your thoughts and opinions. Thank you to everyone who donated memberships and super chat tonight, and who hit the like button. Sounds like home life to Chris was pretty strict. Yes. And he was also in the Navy too. He didn't meet Katie in the Navy. She was in the Navy also. But I found that interesting that they both have military background. Just interesting. But yeah, hit that like button on your way out, and we'll talk very soon, guys. So bye.